All right. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, sure. So assalamualaikum everyone. Peace and blessings. My name is Nzinga Muhammad. I am a student. I'm an artist. Um, a Muslim woman in the Nation of Islam. I'm originally from Rochester, New York. I'm currently residing in Greensboro, North Carolina. So yeah, random fun facts. Been part of the Farrakhan Twitter army since I was 13. So
Mm.
that's a long time. I'm seasoned, as you would say. I'm very seasoned. But I've been writing for a long time, writing articles in defense of the minister and the nation in general. I've been featured in Virtue Magazine, Joshua's Truth, even wrote a few pieces for researchminister.com. So it's just a little bit about me. Um, yeah, I don't know what else.
Well, thank you. We're going to talk about each of those different subjects. You're very involved. My goodness. You've been writing since for the you've been part of the Twitter army since you were 13?
I'm part of Twitter since I was 13. I'm gonna give like the actual date was like September 10th, 2013. It's a
Wow.
very specific kind of made my Twitter account. It was weird because first I was doing it under my mother's account.
Mm-hmm.
But she had it first before me, right? It's crazy. But she had it first before me, and so I was going from her account, but I made my own when I was 13. So I made my personal, like I finally reintroduced myself to the army, under my own account. But
Right.
before it was like over the summer, back when the Time One Must Be Done lecture series was just happening because it started in 2013. So we were doing the whole series, and I joined in right then and
Wow. Praise you to Allah. That's an exciting journey. That's why you're,
there.
because that was a very important date for you.
Yes, it was quite important because the FTA has always been. I know this is not the topic, but the FTA has just been in everything. I was 13 years old. I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm not a teenager when I was my age, but it's been with me throughout my whole entire teenage years. So I really grew up with that. So in terms of defense, that's all I've really been studying for the past like, 7+ years.
That's beautiful.
Crazy.
Praise you to Allah. So I heard you mention that you're an artist. I know that
Mhm.
do you are you an artist of any other type?
So fun fact, I didn't always paint. I actually my painting journey started in 2016. I was 16 years old. Um, but before that, I was drawing a whole lot. I was doing anime, manga, chibi characters. Like I was trying to do that. Then made a switch over to more realism and hyperrealism. So I was doing things like trying to make realistic tigers and people, trying to do portraits. And so that kind of just evolved a little bit more, a little bit better. I bought books, a whole lot of art books, still not picking up a paintbrush. So randomly, not randomly, but it was a weird backstory. I'm not gonna get into it, but basically what happened was I got a job, 16 years old, got a job, and the job basically was to paint murals for city recreation centers. And so me not knowing how to paint, got the job anyways. So they did that because they teach you on the spot. It was less of just you had to paint. It was more so we're painting, and if you don't know, that's fine. We're going to show you the steps and process of making a mural. So I'm also a muralist, and so learning through that process, being in the program for 3-4 years, actually, got better at it, and I learned how to paint from that job, and then branched out.
Wow. 3, 4 years? That sounds like you're a professional. Like
Not even. I'm considered a little late in the game. A lot of
yeah.
people have been playing 9 years, 10 years. I'm a little late in the game, but still, I would think have good. But
Yeah, you have a lot of time to perfect your
yeah,
craft. From the
yeah.
painting I've seen, you do a very good job.
Thank
I've
you.
seen
Thank you so much.
Instagram. I really like the one that's like a side profile and she has a braid with some
Yeah,
flowers.
Halima.
I like that.
Halima. I sold her. I should. I that hurts to this day, but I definitely did. A lot of my inspirations have been Black women. I paint majority Black women. I've done Black men. My first in this whole journey was a Black man. So that was my first ever. Holy was the first one. Black man, do rag, in a very much Jesus-esque portrayal. But then I just branched up to Black women, different kinds of Black women, all different shapes, different hairstyles, different settings. But that's my specialty, portraits, as of right now, at least.
I might need to have a portrait done. Have you heard of the Reflecting Farrakhan challenge?
I have. I was upset couple days because we had to do Savior's Day, post a Savior's Day memory. And it hurt because I didn't want to have to go through all my memories and then pick one just for us to realize we're not going to have this, in a few weeks. So that hurt. That was pain. Um, Also flashbacks of me and the sewing, that also hurt. Talking about teacher training units, and I only know about three. So there was that, all of that, and that's okay though. We're here. I have heard of it. I'm not versed with it, and we have been posting. Me and my friends have, been posting. It's a more of a motivational thing now. It was like I only posted because you posted it, but that's still good because otherwise I'm not be posting anything. And it's always funny. These challenges come whenever I'm taking a break, a social media break. So I guess it's meant for me to stay on. I don't know.
It's meant for you to stay on.
It's probably meant for me to stay on. There is no break. It's what I write you.
Yeah, you have a pretty powerful influence on social media. But yeah, I understand your pain. Although we're not going to be in person all together as a family this year, we do have a lot of social events planned online. It's not going to be the same, but we're still trying to keep that Save the State
I'm
spirit.
part of it, so I know this stuff. I'm part of it, so I know it's there. It's just the energy is going to be there, but energy is a little bit better when you're in person.
Yeah.
So, but everything's for a reason.
Everything happens. Everything.
Everything.
So for those of our viewers who don't know, what is the Twitter Army?
So Twitter Army, we can go back way back. So essentially, what it is people who are committed to what we will call truth trafficking. Typically, when people hear trafficking, it's something that it's illegal. It's something that people should not be distributing, whether that's based upon what the government has issued, based upon what society has issued. And so, truth trafficking is trafficking that which has become illegal or censored. And as we know, censorship is something we're dealing with right now. And so, truth trafficking is basically the mass spread and dissemination of truth, of a powerful message that has liberated us in order to liberate others. So the FTA, the Farrakhan Twitter Army, are people who do that. They partake in that. And it's branched out. It's not just on Twitter, even though that's where it started. It's branched out to like Instagram, Facebook, all the places, social media, period. So that's basically what it is. It's the business of being on the defense, defending the minister, and being on the offense also, because people don't like to be on the offensive. Not offensive being, you tear people down, but offensive being you present your case for, there is an attack. You know what I mean? Because it might be in the people's minds because of the propaganda that has been spread since before social media was a thing.
Right.
And so people come on social media and then post their ideals of what the nation is. Where did you get that from? Some article in 1985 based upon some sort of controversy that happened. So it's basically the defense and the offense of trying to protect the nation, the minister, but also defend. Is she frozen my y'all thing too?
Oh,
You froze up
yeah.
for like 2 seconds. I was like, she froze my y'all thing. I don't even know who's all here.
I believe the last thing I heard you say was about defending the minister and the nation.
So So it isn't though the Farrakhan Twitter army. It's people don't just talk about him. They talk about everybody. It's everybody's business. You know what I mean? Some people say, "Oh, he's not talking about me." No, he's talking about you because this is the man who gave you what we all have now. It's like when someone talks to you, says something about your mother. Like you said what? You said
Right.
what about her? Like who do we fight? But like the man said, you don't throw actual stones. You fight with the stone of truth. So that's what essentially that we're doing.
Oh, yeah. That was a beautiful experience. So, kind of like you joined the Twitter army, but why did you want to? What helped you make the decision to be like, I want to make my own?
um, I think it was like really it was like positive peer pressure. To be honest, it felt like this mass movement, really. And so me being young and wanting to like do more, especially being more in the nation, it's like you're in this space where it's like, where do I fit in? What do I do? Like, what ministry am I gonna grow up in? And just performing. A lot of people don't know. And being born in a nation, you try to figure out like what's your niche? Like, what do you do? Like, what's gonna be your thing? So at 13, I didn't join the nation until I was 17. So I was like, okay, well, maybe to help make my decision, maybe I need to be part of something to make this thing, for myself to make it permanent. Like you're doing this. This is our commitment. This is what we're doing. So be more involved in something that really incorporated the youth, but something outside of relationships. Like, and this is just gonna be my little rant in between. I stand all types of workshops dealing with like relationships and healthy relationships and single retreats, all that. I'm here for it all. But the problem is a lot of people, that's where they stop in
Mm-hmm.
terms of youth inclusion. And it's just like, I promise you, I'm not looking for anybody right now. That's not my goal. I don't care. Like, it's just not it for me. So this was something that I found very youth oriented, but still something productive and positive and something that we feel like we could do and really take over, which we did.
I definitely agree. The inclusion of youth is much more than singles retreat.
Yes.
There's so
I
much more that
promise
we
you.
engage our youth. As 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 a youth myself, I am
Mm-hmm.
interested in just being a part of everything, but I'm not interested
Right.
in all.
Right. It's like there's a little bit more that we could do
Like
with
this.
this. Right. There's something else. Y'all need no help in, Ministry of Defense. Like y'all good. Like that's it.
Right.
Just involving us in something else, something more. And so I felt like this was a really good thing, especially using modern technology. So it felt like, okay, they're catching up to modern times. This is something that we're doing. It's a movement. So it worked.
Definitely. I'll praise you to a lot.
I'll pray this for.
So I read an article about you in the Joshua's Truth magazine, and it was talking about you being a college student and how you're making your mark on your. So first of all, leaving your mark no matter where you go is very important.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of hard, especially as a Muslim woman, as a Black Muslim woman, it's hard to leave your mark. So I just want for you to like expand and tell us a little bit about what you're doing on your campus and how you're leaving your mark.
So I go to Bennett College for Women. It's a all women's HBCU, right? So being a Black woman, on campus isn't too hard. But the the hard part came in when Bennett College. I found out that Bennett College was a Methodist affiliated school. So the presence of Muslims was not really strong whatsoever. There wasn't a prayer room. Bennett is also pretty small, so it wasn't like a whole lot. It's not like a large, everyone has a large multi-faith room that everyone. It wasn't like that at first. I felt like it was really just me. I found out it was really me plus maybe two, but in terms of visibly Muslim people, myself and one other sis who was leaving. She was a senior, so you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it was that feeling of loneliness in that space, but also the questions that people would ask me and the commentary that I would receive was just,
I'm already knowing.
yeah, Questions like, so do you have to wear that? Where are you really from? It's things like that. Did your father make you wear that? Did your mother make you wear that? Does your mother wear it? Do your sisters wear it? Do you have to wear that on your head? You know, and I got a comment. I guess she thought it was a compliment. It wasn't, but she said, you're too pretty to be covered. You're too pretty to be. So it's like, but that's why I want to be covered. It was things that people didn't really understand fully, and to combat that, I said, okay, the campus also didn't really, it wasn't really too readily available to acknowledge our holidays. Like Ramadan, I did that solo. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, they just didn't recognize it. They would send out things like Happy Chinese New Year. Oh, remember that? Okay.
Oh, wow.
They would say, Happy Chinese New Year, Happy Easter, all of that, as they should, but still nothing for any of the Eids, any of, Islamic Lunar Year. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And let alone, definitely not no Savior's Day. That's definitely not Savior's Day either. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So what I did was I noticed that a lot of MSAs, Muslim student associations, they would do World Hijab Day. Bennett has never done World Hijab Day. I said, bet, we'll just do it. So it started off really small. I organized, I actually kind of ambushed a class with it. I kind of ambushed the class. Like it was the end of their class, but the beginning of mine. So you're all participating. It works perfectly. So I got a whole bunch of my scarves. I made some flyers. I talked to my women's studies professor who was like, yeah, we can make this a thing. We'll do it. You can use my class later on. So I ambushed her class. So what happened was, before the idea objective of World Hijab Day essentially is to get people, non-Muslim women, to really educate them about what the hijab means, what Islam means. And traditionally, you're supposed to, they're supposed to wear a headscarf in solidarity. Cool. My thing was, I don't want anyone to wear anything, and then afterwards thinking that I'm forced to wear it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want someone to come in, wear this, and then walk out still thinking that women in Islam don't have rights. So thank God I'm not a Muslim. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I didn't want the solidarity to be sympathy. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I opened it up for uncomfortable questions. Made it a safe space. Look, I'm not judging anybody if you think that I can't drive. Like, if that's what you are coming in here thinking, the point of this isn't to shame you, but it's to educate you. And so I found out a lot of girls had a lot of ideas about Muslim women. And, when I would ask them, like, okay, so have you ever met, a Muslim woman? They would say no. Their uncle was maybe Muslim, their grandfather, their brother maybe converted, but not a Muslim woman. I was their first introduction to the feminine culture inside of Islam, essentially. So okay, now is what I'm dealing with. Fine, but so we worked through it, educated them, and then, after that, now we could put this on, but also making a connection that you don't have to be Muslim to cover your hair.
Right.
And we have in our chapel, because it's a Methodist school, we got a chapel. In our chapel, we have the Black Madonna. Her hair just like mine, just draped, actually. And I made that connection that Mary was in an area where the women covered their hair. So it's not really surprising that I look just like her. We look just like her. So make that connection and made a connection to not just Muslim women, but a lot of women in different faiths. They cover their hair. We cover our hair. So if you're a Christian, you cover your hair. That's just tradition. Really,
right.
If Mary's doing it, that's just tradition. So you can fall in line. That's perfectly fine. I'm not converting you. This is your culture. So, I showed it to them, showing them how to wrap it, because a lot of the girls trying to figure out how to wrap it, because YouTube wasn't doing it for them. So they needed a little hands-on, how to do the edges. That was a different class. but they did it, and they said, "Oh my, it brings out my face. No, it just looks so pretty, And we didn't do. Some of them thought like it was gonna be just the traditional, wrapped around. But there's so many different ways, and I showed them all the different ways, and so that carried on into a kind of an annual thing, and I just did it on the first, actually for the third annual World Hijab Day at Bennett. So that's been the kind of a tradition I've carried on annually, just to teach girls and my peers, and even some faculty and staff about what Islam is, and introducing them to the hadiths, because that's also equally part of Islam. And so yeah, that's part of how I left my mark. Oh, and also in me doing that and being really upfront with Islam on campus, it led to the opening up of our first multi-faith prayer room, in which we have prayer rugs, we have meditation little mugs and stones, and there's statues. If you need a statue, there's prayer beads, there's different books, texts of faith if you need it, just different things for everybody, because I don't want anyone to be left out because I felt left out, so now you're not coming in. No, this is a multi-faith prayer room. Everybody's welcome.
That's beautiful.
Everybody's welcome.
Oh my God, that really is beautiful. A lot. I know. I'm a college student. I was a part of a I would attend different events, I would let all my friends, I would invite all of my friends to any things that were going on. But I don't think we had a World Hijab Day at our school. I don't remember doing it now. I do remember ASM 19 scars at my school.
Yep.
But
that was another thing too. Sorry to interrupt you. That's another thing too. At the end, every time at the end, I always give shout outs and show them where you can buy scarves. And I make sure majority are black owned, black Muslim owned. So ASM 19 is definitely on that list. Every year she's on that list. I promise you she is. And a couple others, really mainly in the nation, and then branching out. But yeah, she makes the list every time. Every time.
When is World Hijab Day?
So it's really on the 1st of February. I would say Black Muslims, we win twice because it's Black History Month, but it's also World Hijab Day. So if you're a Black Muslim, you win twice. Yeah, it's the 1st of February. Sometimes depending on like how the days will flow, I would do like a workshop on the 31st, or maybe like a few days prior to get y'all prepped up to buy your stuff, And if you want to wear it on the 1st, you can. If not, cool. Just make sure you are also spreading awareness and educating yourself and others on Islamophobia, on what Islam means, and really making that part of your solidarity. Because that's the important part. I don't care whether or not you wear a scarf. I care whether or not your ideas change.
Absolutely. Next year, if I am allowed to go back to school without a vaccination,
right,
I will set up a World Hijab Day at my school.
Yes.
So yes, I'm also a college student, and I know there's a lot of us who are young and some that are older school at the moment. We're in college, even in high school, middle schools that aren't really Muslim schools. They could be Christian schools. They could just be regular public schools. But those of us who say we are Muslim, why do you think it's very important to represent ourselves as Muslim?
Well, for one, you might not be the only one, and you don't know who's watching you.
Right.
There's people I found in my school who came up to me after I did the workshop, and they would say, I'm Muslim, but I'm trying really hard to like get back to, Islam. And it's like, oh, I would have never known. But the fact that she saw me practicing constantly made her want to come back and, really have her Islam again. I have that connection again. You never know who's watching you. And also it's a need. It's a dire need. There's people who come to these institutions trying to learn more with the mindset that, Muslims are not bad people, but just have these laws. Like every Muslim has a fourth wife. The women, they can't do this. The women can't do this. You know, the woman can't do this. And a lot of times, especially if you're a black woman, like Muslim woman, that's a little more rare than seeing a black Muslim man. A lot of times, they know about the brothers on the corner, as they should. If you don't, something's wrong. But well, I don't know what city you're in, but that's a wrong thing.
Good.
If you don't see them on the corner, call us. But they see that and they're used to that. But the problem is they don't see a lot of the women, and when they do, it's not necessarily, they don't always have the right ideas, they don't have the acts, and then sometimes if the brother don't even know what he's talking about, it makes matters worse. So now they're coming to school with these ideas that Islam is a very sexist religion. There's
Right.
sexism in the religion. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and say no. There's no sexism in Islam. Lie again. But I will say that there's some people within the religion who are not helping when people on the outside looking in want something that helps and really shapes and refines women. So I would say, especially for Muslim women, really be proud of that and don't shy away from that because people are watching and they want to learn more. And 9 times out of 10, they're looking to you, whether you know it or not, they're looking to you to verify or deny all the things they've heard back at home. And
Absolutely.
so you gotta really be that. It sucks that you're like the it person for all Islam to a lot of people, but unfortunately, a lot of times we are, and so we just have to work with it and deal with it and help other people in the process.
Absolutely. It is unfortunate, but
Mm-hmm.
if you are what you say you are, then it's really your problem. If you're living your life and you're being righteous and you're just doing what you feel as though you should be doing, then there should be no issue.
Yeah, yeah. Some people they might not want to be like, because but they don't want to be this kind of like role model or staple or like spokesperson for Islam. But my thing is, look, Islam is perfect. I am not. So if you think I'm amazing, praise it to Allah. But I'm fucking perfect. But if you think I'm like half perfect, no praise it to Allah really, because I'll be a mess without him. We look. He knows. He knows.
Yeah. I love that you stay humble.
I've had to. You have to these days. You have to. You really have to. I think being Islam, at least for me, it's been really humbling. Um, because you're really Islam. People don't like submission. People don't like submission at all. Some more than others, but submission means that you have to give up your own desires and to do what someone else wants to do. The difference with this is not somebody, who doesn't know what he's doing. This is somebody who knows exactly what he's doing, what you're doing, what you want to do, what you shouldn't do. So in that humble experience, you're really surrendering and giving yourself up to a process of purification, of renewal. And who else is better at doing that than the creator? So it definitely has been a humbling experience for me. This whole Islamic journey, I was born into it, it's still a journey. Like newsflash, just because you're born in Islam or in the nation does not mean that you're sanctified and saved from out the womb. Like you're just not. You're just not, and it's actually, in my humble opinion, a little bit harder. Just a little bit harder, because at least, in this world, at least, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that this world is a prisoner for the believer. So if you're born a believer, you've been in jail all your life, really, But before, if you're not and you came into it, not knowing you were in prison. We knew it, now we're going crazy. So
Right.
whenever a young Muslim person decides, I want this for myself, it's really like, wow, you really have thought this through, and despite all the odds and everything, you still want to push through. That is humbling also.
That's a great way to look at it. You have a beautiful way with words.
My minor is English, so that might have something to do with it. So yeah.
I might need to. So, what advice do you give to anybody who's just interested in learning about Islam, or specifically the name, but they don't know
Mm.
how to get started? They don't know anybody who is in the Nation of Islam. So they're just like, oh, I guess one day I'll know.
Okay, so first things first, don't go based off of movies. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if your source of reference is just, one night in Miami, don't do that. If your only source of reference is some Malcolm X documentary, made in 2010, don't do that. Okay, definitely NOI.org is your best friend in terms of the Nation of Islam. Now, once you establish the NOI.org, then you can go on social media and see if you can find some people. See if you can find, your brother. I almost call him Brother Jesse, Lord, Brother Keon, but I do Keon. See if you can find, Joshua's truth. See if you can find even yourself. All these different people. Sister Kenya, love her. See if you can find, even your brother Benz if you want to. All these different people, and social media is a great place to start. And try not to look at all the propaganda and really start reading and learning for yourself. I could tell you whatever you want. Someone else could tell you whatever you want. But at the end of the day, if you don't go and research for yourself, you're not
Right.
going to be satisfied. That's how I chose it for myself. How I chose a song for myself. Even though I was born into it, I still had to research and, make sure it added up to me. You know what I
Right.
mean? You can't just take things off face value, even if you're born into it. So take that same approach, I would say, and look up and research for yourself. And please, God, don't go on Wikipedia trying to find out all the in and outs. It's not going to work that way. It's not going to work.
Absolutely not. Not Wikipedia.
Not Wikipedia. Do some NOI sources. We have NOI, RG.org, the research group. You could do that if you want to. Dr. Ava has some amazing lectures you can find on YouTube. Somebody, just not Wikipedia, please. Somebody. And make sure they're in the nation and know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone in the nation knows how to represent the nation. That's another thing too. That's another thing too. But
That's,
I would definitely start with like the student ministers, definitely like Brother Ishmael or Brother Abel, Brother Nuri, Sister Ava, somebody in the
mm-hmm.
nation, and go from there.
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, if any of you all are interested in learning about the Nation of Islam, please take note of what she just said. Please take note of what she just
Please.
said.
NY.org is your best friend.
Yes. So I like how you also brought up social media. Everybody's on social media nowadays, whether they be old
Mm-hmm.
um, or young. Everybody's on social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever else
Mm-hmm.
out nowadays, like TikTok. Why do you think it's important to have a positive influence, just positivity rather than negative, bringing your brothers and sisters in?
We see that every day. Even if you're not in the nation, we see negativity every single day. I was watching a documentary the other day actually about social media, and they were saying how our brains are not really built to process this much information, and not even information, but like violence and like trauma and things like that at the speed that we're intaking it now. And I thought about that,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought of how people every day on this app and others will slander people and like do all these kind of things, and you see images of like black death, literally black people dying every single day,
Right.
and it's not to the point people are numb to it, you know. And so, in order to combat that, people have to get off of the app completely, or unfortunately, some people will even go extreme and they'll even commit suicide of what they see on social media. So negativity has a great effect on people. But at the same time, the minister has taught the value of social media and the importance of filling the airways with truth and positivity as much as you possibly can. And so, if people are going to be on social media, then no, we're not going to get off the app anytime soon. Not everyone in the world is going to get off the app. That's just not really. We're not going to do that. So, in order to combat that, since we're here, meet the people where they are, and fill the airways with truth and positivity. That's important because you might be building somebody up from an Instagram feed. You don't even know it.
Right.
There's been so many testimonies of people, DMing the minister and saying, you saved my life. You stopped me from committing suicide over a 10-second clip that they saw randomly one day on their feed.
Right.
If this word really liberated us, why can't we liberate others with it? If it
Right.
did it for us, it could do the same thing for other people. We didn't have Twitter back in, 1975. We just didn't, but we do now. And so, what are we gonna do with that? How are we gonna change the conversation? How are we gonna make a positive change and make sure that, like the minister said, this word teaching get out to every nook and cranny of the world? How are we gonna do that? We can do that now with social media, a worldwide app.
Mm-hmm. It's important that we go ahead and take advantage of everything that we have. We have
Everything.
the whole world through social media. People in different countries
Mm-hmm.
all over. It's so very important. Do you have a
Absolutely.
favorite from the Honorable Mental Department?
Like just
Or
one,
just up to you?
just one, or I'm trying to think. I have like this supercomputer in my head where I like go through lectures and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely know of the quote, really by the messenger, but he reiterated it. And him saying a woman can do anything a man can do, and the only thing that he forbids a woman to do is that which degrades her. So how high can you go? As high as you want to, So that's been something that I really, really thoroughly take to heart and enjoy, especially in a world that does not like women. It tells women that we can't reach as high as other people. So I definitely love that quote. Also, not the minister, but it's the messenger. It's the Elijah Muhammad, but him saying that history is best qualified through what I research. And me as a history major myself, it's quite amazing. It's quite wonderful. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of quotes in the minister, and it's actually too many. Yep, my battery is dying. That's why it's going out. But it's a weird name. But
Oh,
definitely that, definitely about women. We can go as high as we want to.
I'm sure there's so many beautiful
There's
things
so
that
many
both
quotes.
Elijah and the Honorable Mental Department kind of said.
Mm-hmm.
So many. Your phone is about to die.
Yeah, she's at a good 10%. Let's plug her right now. There we go.
All right. Well, I just have one last question
Okay.
for you. Um, what does your name mean? It's a beautiful name.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. So it's Nzinga. Nzinga means beauty, courage, strength, and river, actually. So yeah, that's what it means. And then Muhammad is worthy of praise. Worthy of praise, I won't say as much. But yeah, it's from Angola, the African country of Angola. Also has some Portuguese variants because of the Portuguese coming in during that time. Um, and Queen Nzinga, the actual Queen Nzinga, who fought off the Portuguese and slave trade. But yeah, it means beauty and courage and strength and river. Yes. And also, I've read it means to twist and to turn. And I've read that when the actual Queen of England was born, her umbilical cord was tied around her neck. And that's really hard for babies to really breathe if your umbilical cord is tied around your neck. And I think my mother said I was the same way. So that was
Oh,
interesting to see, to hear that it was the same way. But yeah.
wow. Well, I think your name beautifully reflects who you are.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say on behalf of NNV News, thank you so much for allowing us to reschedule due to us not being able to go live on our NNV.
Thank you for rearranging so quickly, saying, forget it. We're just gonna do it on this account, and that's be perfectly fine. Thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Mm-hmm. And thank you so much for agreeing to have an interview with us. I
Absolutely.
actually one. I want to set up another one because
Yes.
you're full of, and
Thanks.
we need to share that with the yes,
Made me feel alive. Thank you
yes,
so much. Thank you to everyone who joined also.
yes. Thank you all for joining. Um, do you have any website? Do you sell your art on a website that you
I
like?
do. I do.
Okay.
So right now it's art. Type as I talk. Artpower.com slash Queen Nzinga, spelled the same way it is here. I am currently working on building another website. Not because this one is bad, but because people want more things and this website doesn't have them. So, inshallah soon, I'm working on creating another website called ZBrushes, zbrushes.com.
All right. Well, may Allah bless you with that.
Thank
I
you.
will be getting in very soon. I'll be staying. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you all for tuning in today. Please follow us here at NNV News. Well, our account. This is my account, but please follow it. Our NNV, which is spelled NNVNEWS, NNV News. And yeah, thank you so very much.
Thank
May
you for having me.
bless you.
God
And
bless you as well.
yes, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.